What's good, y'all? It's Jarrell the Chop Bandit. Welcome back to What You Want to Know Wednesdays, and we're going to be doing part 2 of the Managing the Business of You series, and that includes client curation. So if you're in the business of any kind of service or any kind of product, whatever it is, you have clients, right? And at the end of the day, whenever you have clients, one of the things you want to keep in mind is, are you serving the client what they need? And are they in turn serving you what you need? And a lot of times we get stuck on money and what we need. And one of the things I would like to tell people is client curation will help mitigate a lot of the tension of the day-to-day stuff. You could easily get to a point to where you kind of just stressed out and you don't want to do what you love, or whatever it is that you're doing, it becomes a headache, right? And one of the easiest ways to cure this is client curation. So I'll give you 3 different things to think about as far as client curation, because it really could not only save your business, but save your mental health as well. So the first thing I would like to bring up is what works for you. What works for you may not be what works for everybody else. A lot of times whenever we're doing our products and our services or whatever we're offering, we start to base it off of what other people are doing and our peers. And that can help. You can glean certain information from them and learn different things. But at the same time, you still have to be honest with yourself and what you're offering. Sometimes that means making a different choice that's better suited for you. So for me in particular, I know that I have the capability of doing video editing and different things like that for people, right? But when I offer my skills and services, I tend to limit it to mostly music related things, because I know for me, even though this like is something that I was interested in, video editing and different things like that are not my passion, right? So this can get old really, really quick to me. When we start adding in like people like want to do this on a regular basis. Like I'm gonna be honest with myself, I can't really do that all the time. Um, Another things, even in my profession, whenever I do, say for instance, recordings and different things like that, I have to be honest with people about, hey, I usually charge like a flat rate here and there, but when you start talking about longer songs or maybe more intricate songs, then we need to have a discussion. I need to do what's right for me in this moment, because if it's an intricate song, yes, it might be 3 minutes, but it might take me a good amount of time to make sure everything is perfect and in the right way, because it's so intricate, right? And so it's going to take a little bit more time. And you have to be honest with yourself about these things. It can save you a lot of headache. And I know you want clients and you don't want to like run anybody away, but at the end of the day, it's better for you to be honest and upfront than to be disgruntled in the aftermath. And a lot of times when you're in that disgruntled state, you actually don't put out your best work. And also doing this creates a habit. And so think about if you have like not just this one project that you feel this way, but you have a multitude of them. And so now you've created this work environment for yourself that's just not conducive. And now you dread doing the work. You don't want that. You want to be in a place to where you're enjoying what you're doing and having a blast. And it keeps you creative and full of vitality and wanting to do more, right? And you're happy to do it. The next thing I want people to keep in mind, and especially for entrepreneurs, creatives, different things like that, a lot of times we get hung up on money. But one of the things I tell people is I like to be compensated for my work. And what does that mean? Compensation can be anything that is of value to me. We do an exchange of whatever it is, and then you compensate me with whatever I find of value. So that could be services, that could be money, that could be information, whatever it is. That's what I would like to be paid in, and be honest about what compensation level that you would like or require. So, say for instance, one of my friends that I constantly work with is my friend Obi and my friend George, and I tell them, hey, our compensation is, services. Like I might ask him to play such and such on my track, and in return, I offer the services of recording drums or different things like that for them, or sometimes video editing, because of the skills that I have. So that's the compensation. And so even on the flip side, even if you're hiring somebody, I need you to always think about compensation, right? You should always be offering something of value to somebody, right? And so when it comes to that, you need to think about that as well. Sometimes you may not get the amount of money that you need, or it might be a mixture. It might not be the amount of money that you want, but maybe they have something else to offer that's of value to you. This is the hard part though, discerning what is the actual amount of compensation that you require and sticking to it. It can be a tricky situation because then you have these opportunities where it's like, oh, the typical is for exposure. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about like, hey, say for instance, if you do a painting for somebody and they don't have, $300 to give you for the painting, but maybe they have 200 or 250, and they also have a connection with somebody that's also looking to purchase art from you or different things like that. Or hey, I don't have the 200, the 300 right now, but hey, I want to actually work with you more often, so maybe could you give me a discount on the price? Like, so instead of getting $300 for that one painting, you might get commission to do 5 paintings for at $200. So now instead of $300, you've made $1,000 over a course of time, and now you have steady work. And make sure you have contracts. That's a vital part. Make sure you have contracts, something that's written down. But now you have a steady flow of work, and you can do this for multiple things. At the end of the day, you need to be really honest though about what works for you as far as the compensation. The last thing I'll say is every opportunity is not for you. What do I mean by that? So there are going to be a lot of things that present itself to you, and it might seem like a great opportunity, but you really need to weigh the cost. There are some things that it seems like it's good in the moment, but it could really cost you something that you can't get back. A lot of time, effort, and money, and you need to really weigh those things. Sometimes what looks good is not what's best for you, right? So there are opportunities where I've had some people reach out to me and they were like, "Hey man, can you play this?" And it's short notice. It's not paying a lot of money, and it's just it wouldn't look good on me because I didn't have time to prepare for it. You know, it's not even going to give me the amount of money that's worth me going through the trouble of being there. You have to weigh these things, and sometimes like you might be in a state of struggle or like a state of panic because hey man, I really need this money, but I challenge you to think otherwise. I challenge you to take on the mindset of I am a professional and I am worth the amount of money that I charge, right? And what that does is put you in the mind state of somebody that's in corporate or something like that. When you go to Chick-fil-A, you can't tell them, "Hey, I want a discount off this sandwich." They're gonna look at you crazy. They're gonna be like, you don't get to pay $1 for the sandwich, unless we running some kind of promotion. You just don't get to come in here and make a demand on what that is at your convenience. You have to think the same way when you go to buy a house. You can't just go up in there and be like, "Hey, this is a $300,000 house. Give it to me for 50,000." You know, the Lord working mysterious ways. I can't say that's impossible, but for the majority of the time, you just can't do that. That's not how it works. And you need to treat yourself the same way. When somebody comes to you with an inconvenient offer, it puts you in a bind. It kind of stresses you out. You feel anxiety about it. You need to evaluate whether it's even worth it or not. And that's when you start talking about convenience, because one of the things that we deal with on a constant basis, everybody deal with this, is convenience stores. Why are the prices so much higher? Because of the convenience that is just there for you to get, right? So you need to do the same thing when it comes to your products or your services. At the end of the day, they have to pay for the convenience of you being ready, available, willing to do the work, and able to execute whatever it is they're asking for. And with that, you got to keep in mind that, okay, maybe you aren't able to do that. Be honest with yourself. Maybe you can't do this confidently, And it's probably better for you not to do it. You know, you want to keep yourself in a place to where you present yourself as the best possible at all times. Also, everything just isn't for you, is in the sense of, you know, it might seem like a lucrative idea, but you need to actually pay attention to the fine print of things. Actually ask questions to get the full detail of whatever it is that they're asking you to do. It can really make or break whatever that opportunity is. Again, I bring up the, payment by exposure. That really doesn't do anything for anybody for the most part. If you're going to do something like that, you need to be paying attention to whatever the details are. Really weigh, are you actually going to be exposed to somebody, or are they just going to see you in passing? Because one of the things that I tell people, if you're going to pay me an exposure, that means I actually need to be exposed to whoever it is that's worth being exposed to. Not them just passing and seeing me and just thinking that, I need an introduction. I need to meet this person. I need to see, I need to have like a stake in whatever it is that you're telling me that I'm being introduced to or exposed to. So keep those things in mind. I'm not saying don't ever do work for exposure, but really pay attention to, are you actually going to be exposed to this person or this entity or whatever it is that you're looking to be exposed to? Or are you just going to be something that's just like, an ornament on the wall and they just pass by you and that's it? And the last thing I'll say is, on a spiritual level, sometimes you need to have discernment. Yeah, just flat out. You need to have discernment, and the discernment of the Holy Spirit and like God leading you will help you to decipher a whole bunch of situations, because again, some stuff looks like it's great for you, and then when you actually get down to it, or you hear about somebody else that maybe got the opportunity, you realize that, man, that wouldn't have been great for me. I actually could have been in a lot of trouble, or it wouldn't have been worth the work. So these are all things that you got to keep in mind and keep in the context of, does this opportunity do me right? Is it going to be worth it? And once you start putting all of these things together, it will help you to curate your clientele and who you work for and what work you're doing. And it will make for an easier life. Yes, you might have less work per se, but the quality of work that you will have will not only keep you more fulfilled as a person, you're happier, you're able to do whatever you need to. But a lot of times when people take on this mindset, they end up making more money. Because think about it, the more you start working with higher quality clients, the more they'll spread your word amongst more high quality clients. And so because you have taken out the riffraff, you have more time to work for the high quality clients. But it is a long game. You have to be patient. You have to be willing to do the work, be disciplined, be diligent, and it'll work out for you. But these are just the thoughts that I have on it. These are different tools that I believe that you can utilize over a multitude of different activities and professions. So hopefully it's helpful to you. As always, if you have questions or you want to know something else, please comment below. I'll do my best to answer it. And also, if you want to know about anything that I use or any lessons that I offer, please click the link in my bio. Check it out there. Until next time, I'll see you on the next one. Peace.